safety, protecting Taiwan. Atomic Energy Council partnering with you. To guarantee the safety of nuclear power plants, the Atomic Energy Council regularly conducts exercises according to the Nuclear Emergency Response Act. The 2018 nuclear emergency exercise was taking place at Jinshan Nuclear Power Plant. The 2 units at the plant have been shut down for a period of time. Therefore, the possibility of a nuclear accident happening is much lower than other plants in operation. However, the government based the exercises on the idea of more preparation, more safety, to evaluate the efficiency and effectiveness of the emergency response units. The exercise consisted of 2 parts, the tabletop exercise and the full participation exercise. First, the tabletop exercises were held on August 10th. Led by the National Nuclear Emergency Response Forward Center Coordination Post, 7 organizations participated in the combined exercise, including New Taipei City Emergency Response Center, Taipei City Emergency Operations Center, Army Support Center Forward Command Post, Radiation Monitoring Center, Taiwan Power Company, Jinshan Nuclear Power Plant, and the AEC Emergency Response Team, with a total of 367 people participating in the exercise. This year marks the first time the National Nuclear Emergency Response Center Forward Coordination Post used an unannounced scenario to perform the exercise. The exercise scenario simulates a natural disaster caused by the loss of outside power, blockage of roads, and the disruption of water supply that results in a delay of plant repairs. The exercise also considered a worsening situation from the alert to the site area emergency to separate conducting the exercise into 2 stages. The central and local governments cooperated to integrate and allocate resources to effectively execute emergency response and public protective actions under the complex disaster. The team stationed at the National Nuclear Emergency Response Center Forward Coordination Post is split into 4 groups according to their function: the rescue group, the support group, the evacuation group, and the medical and shelter group. Each group discussed and planned procedures within limited time and formulated a response plan. All participating organizations focused on the issues and successfully completed each task. The full participation exercise was held during the weekend of September 14th and 15th at Jinshan Nuclear Power Plant and the nearby areas, with the same scenario as the tabletop exercise. To verify the effectiveness of the power plant emergency response team, the AEC performed an unannounced exercise of mobilization on September 8th. The response personnel all reported to the site within the allocated time. The first day of the full participation exercise was September 14th, included the on-site nuclear emergency exercise, the radiation injury treatment exercise, and held radiation safety education programs and precautionary evacuation exercises for schools within the emergency planning zone. The on-site nuclear emergency exercise was held from day to night and utilized a scenario chosen on-site by unannounced scenario design team. It considers the unit repair operations under the situation of the disruption of off-site power and the blockage of roads inside and outside the plant caused by heavy rains, landslides, or earthquakes. An emergency call was made to the National Airborne Service Corps of the Ministry of the Interior to request helicopter transport of vital emergency equipment. In the evening, the portable power supply vehicle arrived at Jinshan Nuclear Power Plant and provided the emergency power. Coolant water was injected into the reactor and the spent fuel pool in time and successfully prevented the accident from deteriorating. During the exercise, an unannounced scenario was announced to evaluate the adaptability of the power plant personnel. An exercise of radiological injury treatment was incorporated into the exercise, with 4 personnel injured with radiological contamination. After initial treatment on site, they were transported to the Taipei Veterans General Hospital and Dan Shui McKay Memorial Hospital for further treatment. On the morning of September 14th, all elementary and junior high schools within the emergency planning zone held radiation safety education programs simultaneously. The Tianhua Elementary School, Sherman Middle School, Sherman Elementary School, as well as affiliated kindergarten of Sherman Elementary School performed precautionary evacuation exercises. These schools were evacuated to the host schools in the Bali district of New Taipei City. Teachers and students fully cooperated with the exercises and followed the procedures to quickly and orderly complete the evacuation. During the second day of the full participation exercise conducted on Saturday, September 15, the simulated scenario progressed from alert status to site area emergency to test the response procedures of New Taipei City Emergency Response Center, Radiation Monitoring Center, and Army Support Center. The primary exercises were public protective actions and radiation monitoring and screening station exercises. The spot check exercises and locations were announced on the night of the 14th to deepen the ability of each organization to respond to emergency events. On the morning of September 15th, the New Taipei City Emergency Response Center first performed an exercise to close down Baisha 1 Beach and persuade tourists to evacuate, and aerial drones were used to monitor the evacuation status. At around 10:30, a nuclear accident alert was sent out by the siren system, as well as through the local broadcast service LBS and telephone notification. The AEC also sent out a nuclear exercise alert through the cell broadcast service CBS to all areas inside New Taipei City. Following the alert, the New Taipei City government performed home sheltering exercises for local Sherman District residents and drills where volunteers assisted with the distribution of supplies and voluntary evacuation of residents. Next, the Nuclear Accident Radiation Monitoring Center and Army Support Center performed radiation monitoring exercises using aerial drones at Laomei Elementary School, seafood and seawater collection for radiation monitoring at Fuji Harbor. During the location transferred of the exercises, spot check exercises were announced, which included armored vehicle launch bridge testing, traffic control, land-based radiation monitoring, and environmental sampling procedures. After receiving the command, the Army Support Center, New Taipei City Emergency Response Center, and the Radiation Monitoring Center immediately mobilized to the specified location to perform the exercises. Even with a limited time, each team and all personnel successfully completed their mission, demonstrating the effectiveness of preparedness of the emergency organizations in real time. During the afternoon that day, the New Taipei City Emergency Response Center also performed establishing protective station exercises at the parking lot of Qinshui Bay. Emergency exercises are all about performing the exercises, then learning from them. Throughout the nuclear emergency exercises, the AEC cooperated with the associated organizations to deal with the issues revealed from the exercise and constantly seeks improvement to better cope with real-life scenarios and to improve the integrated emergency response to a complex disaster. These improvements will allow the different governmental organizations and the Taiwan Power Company to mobilize quickly and effectively and guarantee that the last line of defense for nuclear safety is operating smoothly and protecting the safety of civilians.